What do you tell them as a dad? So it's like, you're not trying to coach them and you're letting the coaches coach, obviously. But, you've done it. You coached yourself. When they get back in the car and they had a great game or they had a tough game, there's something you saw, maybe that's not this X and O part of it as much, but what you kind of want to see and you can help them with maybe.
Two things. Number one, real easy for my kids to get in the car and complain about the officials. Mm-hmm. Like, love to complain about the officiating. And me as a parent, I love to complain about the officiating. One of the lessons that I learned from playing football, and I had to learn it the hard way, do not blame officials. Okay? It does you no good. It's unhealthy. It doesn't help.
Right.
If you can get that out of who you are as an athlete, I think it's really healthy. I think it's really helpful. So when my kids, they know you're not allowed to get in our car after a game and complain about officiating. And you might be right, but they're human too, and it's a hard job, and I don't want that job.
Right.
So that's one thing. The second thing is I try my best to bite my tongue on X's and O's and be a good listener to start out the conversation.
Right.
Something I struggle with a little bit.
Sure.
But that's something that, like I said, I think I've just learned the hard way, but I have learned the lesson.
I think it's important to point out, and here we are sitting here, and the parents are watching. It's not easy. Like, we can sit here and say, hey, let the coaches coach and stay out of it, but you're fired up about the game too. And my rule with officiating was like, Allison, you don't need to complain about the officials on the way home because I'm going to do it. But you're to the game, so I have to plead guilty to a lot of things that you're not supposed to do. And even, the way the game went sometimes, or, man, she should have caught that pass, or whatever it might be. And so it's not like it's natural, it's normal, but you got to find a way to kind of bring it back to what's important, right? Mm-hmm. And what your kids need to learn from the whole thing.
I think I had to get creative with my kids. Like, I have one child who's like super talented, but maybe not always the best at playing defense. And instead of me criticizing or like bringing up the defense, what I chose to do with her is I would video her on defense with no commentary. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just sending you some videos. Mm-hmm. And I think she noticed in herself, like, I could do better than that.
Right.
I could do better than that.
She understood what you were saying, but you were doing it in a real nice way.
It's a fine line because I had to send a bunch of good plays too.
Right.
It wasn't like I was just like, sending, I caught you walking, caught you loafing.
Right.
It wasn't so much that, but I would send maybe 10 videos of the day.
Right.
I'd take 30,
yeah.
Delete 20 of them. And but I think getting creative, because you don't want to be that overbearing, crush their spirit dad,
right.
But you also certainly want them to reach their God-given ability and their potential.
Right.